Welcome to EconoChat Let's Talk Business with Mr. Daniel Steinman. Today we will not be having the every week talk that is focusing on the economy, but also talking about something that is essential to the Namibia economy, I should say. But we're talking about agriculture today, and that is water irrigation. Warm welcome to everyone. A warm welcome to Mr. Daniel Steinman himself.
Thank you, Elsabe. Can I just point out that this is a continuation of our talk of last week, where we, in broad terms, look at agriculture.
Yeah.
But one of the underlying themes that came out is food security.
Yeah.
And it's in that context that I want you and I to talk about water and about irrigation and about the possibilities.
Yes.
Because remember, I've often said in the past, water is the most important economic element in Namibia.
Yeah.
But that's in a broad sense. I mean, whether it's a suburb in Windhoek or Ushakati or at the coast, you can't develop a city without water. Whether it is for household consumption, whether it is for animals on the farm, whether it is for irrigation, planting your own crops, you need it everywhere, every day. Something that you can't go without. But now, when we look at the role of water in agriculture, and specifically how much we will need to get to a point where we can comfortably say that we are at an acceptable level of food security, then it becomes a bit more complicated.
It does.
Then it's no longer just general principles and bird's eye view. Now you're starting to go into the detail. And in Namibia, where 2/3 of the country is desert or arid, and the only really big water sources are on the borders. It is in Namibia. It's a big issue. We cannot talk about food security if we don't talk about water. But what we need to do, if we're looking at designing and implementing any policy on food security, we need to ask why. Let's just spiffball a little bit. Let's say you and I get very rich from oil and gas.
Okay.
And so does every other Namibian. We all turn into millionaires overnight. Do you think planting mealies and mahangu is still an issue then?
No.
No, we can pay the South Africans and the Zimbabweans to plant it on our behalf.
Yeah.
And we can bring it here and pay them for it. So there must be something else to food security than just being able to eat, and to eat sufficiently to raise our children well, because that is what it's all about in the end. Now, if you look at the market in Namibia over the past 20 years or so, you will see that we roughly need in the region of about 400,000 tons of cereals and vegetables. I'm excluding meat here. I'm excluding protein. So I'm looking at everything other than protein. And we produce, let's just take one commodity, white maize. It's roughly estimated that we need about 88,000 tons a year, of which we, in good years, can produce about half, let's say 40,000 tons, give or take. But you and I know very well it's not a good year every year.
Yeah.
It is very seldom a good year, and the areas that are good for cereal production, maize production from natural rainfall, those areas are very limited. There's a little bit in the north and in the Otavi Valley and here and there, but those are not massive agronomic plantings. Those are actually limited. And you can see if you put everything together, and we produce only about half the cereal that we need in a good year, you can sort of make that calculation in the back of your mind. We are always at a deficit. So again, coming back to that question, why food security? Is it not cheaper to make money from something other than mealies or mahangu or red meat, and then pay somebody else, our neighbors where it rains more, to produce, and we buy it from them? This is part of the argument. This is one half of the debate. The other half is that when we look at procurement and we adopt a paradigm where we say that we are all going to get rich from diamonds, and we will be buying our food from the good producers, you tend to miss the point that you do not control the source of your food.
Definitely.
And this is a very important thing. It's so weird. In the last 100 years, we haven't all become millionaires from diamonds, although there are many people in the rest of the world who think that. Mm-hmm. So there's something more to food security than just having enough to eat. And I think the most important thing is the political dimension. And by that I mean that if we produce what we need ourselves, by ourselves, it means that we are not exposed to the vagaries of the international market, mm-hmm. or much less, and that we can sort of determine what we want to pay for the food that we need on a daily basis. And I'm talking staples here. I'm not talking fancy imports from Germany. I'm talking the basic stuff that we need. So that is the most important thing, because that determines the policy. Why food security? And it is not about having enough to eat. We have enough to eat every day. It's the political side of it, of controlling our own source of sustenance.
And on that note, let's quickly go for a short break, and once we come back, we'll dig a bit deeper in what you mean by political dimensions.